we're so quick to throw away positive perspectives, and we just say, oh, well, that's just normal, you know, it's not much. But then a negative perspective comes your way, a negative comment or something negative comes along, and we just soak it up. We just soak it up. Oh my God, because it's about your aura. It's about what connects to you most it's about what connects to you most authentically. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so thankful y'all are here. I pray you can find home here, and if so, welcome. So today I want to talk to y'all about a few different ways to protect your aura, to protect your energy, to protect the spirit that you carry. So we all carry a certain aura. We all carry a certain energy depending on what we go through, depending on how we feel that day, or what we're surrounded by. But ultimately, our energy, our vibration, our aura is the main thing that will either attract or repel the things that are really meant for us, and vice versa. It'll attract things that we may not want in our lives, but if we're carrying a certain energy in our aura, we're more than likely to not only attract a certain thing, but to also keep it in our lives. I'm not gonna go over everything about aura and energy in this video, but I just wanna go over a few things that you wanna look out for, or maybe incorporate into your life more in order to protect your aura or keep a more positive aura. So the first thing that we have to let go of, that we have to stop doing, is trying to fit in, trying to squeeze ourselves into places that we don't belong. And this is not just a friend group. This is not just socially, but sometimes I'm finding in my life that sometimes we can try to squeeze into ideals or beliefs that we don't even believe. We can try to squeeze into maybe what other people want for us, knowing that it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like us. It doesn't feel authentic. And trust me, I get it. Everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to belong somewhere. Belonging is one of our most primal needs ultimately. But when we're trying to fit into spaces that do not accept us, or we just don't fit into, it doesn't have to be anything negative, but if we're trying to fit into a space where we don't fit, we're spending energy that we could be spending on authentic friend groups or authentic hobbies, just a more fulfilling life in general. We're spending that energy and it's going to waste because we're not meant to be in a certain place. You never want to be more preoccupied with getting validation from spaces that you aren't meant to be in than you are with being authentic with yourself. You never want to keep yourself or even place yourself from the get-go in a very forceful energy, or in any scenario where you have to let go of parts of yourself in order to be included, in order to stay accepted within a group. Because again, now you're exchanging your authentic confidence for this false sense of self in order to get validation, and that messes up your aura. That makes you somebody that you're not. And what gives you a confident aura, a beautiful aura, just a natural aura, is you being true to yourself. The second thing is that you have to invest in your aura. And when I say invest, I don't mean you have to spend money all the time or spend this or spend that, but investing in your aura means focusing on things that make you happy. I know a lot of us are on our phones a lot, so look at memes that make you laugh in the morning or through the whole day. If you're gonna be on your phone scrolling, look at things that feed into you, that pour into you, that give you knowledge or give you, look at things that give you information on a new reality you want to step into. Like, for example, if you want to go into a certain career, a certain job, look at videos about that. If you need inspiration, if you want confidence, watch videos like these. Make sure you're keeping things that are positive to your aura in your energetic field, because You know, we all like a little bit of drama every now and then. We all like a little bit of negativity every now and then. I'm not gonna lie, okay? But you don't want that to be your main focus. You don't want to go to sleep with negative or toxic things on your mind. You don't want to wake up with it on your mind. You don't want it to be your primary investment into your aura. I believe 100% in look good, feel good. I guess we can say that's a quote, but I believe when you look good, when you present yourself in the best way possible, then you do feel better. You do feel a little bit more confident stepping out into the world. And that doesn't mean you have to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on your looks or get the skincare or the makeup that everybody's talking about, even though that's not a problem too. But ultimately, do things that help you feel good about yourself. If your style is a little more simple, do that, because it's about your aura, not about what everybody else is doing. If your style is a little bit more complicated or complex or colorful, do that, because it's about your aura. It's about what connects to you most it's about what connects to you most authentically that will raise your aura and raise your frequency. So don't focus so much on the outside. What is everybody else doing? Oh, that looks good on her, so I should do it. Or he's reading that, so I should read it. No, focus on what's calling your heart, what's calling you to it, what feels good when you think about it that you want to do, you know? What do you visualize in your mind? What are you visualizing for yourself that you know you would feel good in? You know you would feel like, okay, I like this about myself, or I like this outfit, I like this hairstyle. Like, go towards what feels good. Go towards what you know in your mind would help you feel better about yourself. And also, please learn to be kind to yourself. I know a lot of us, we didn't learn how to be kind to ourselves. We may have learned how to be kind to other people, learn how to respect other people, and be this people pleaser, always giving our energy and, you know, investing in other people's aura. But you have to invest in your aura by being kind to yourself. Speak to yourself with a gentle spirit, a gentle heart. It's everybody's first time on this earth, including yours, you know? So I think from that perspective, we have to learn how to respect our own mistakes, our own moments where we fall short a little bit more, because it's not until we know better that we do better. And when you carry this knowing with you, it raises your aura, because you're no longer scared to make mistakes. You're no longer so fearful of making a mistake or fearful of things going wrong, because you know that at least you have you on your team. At least you will be able to give yourself those positive affirmations like, hey, I can try again, or I did my best. So if you're going to be kind and gentle and loving to anybody in this world, be kind and gentle and loving to yourself first, please. The third thing is avoiding self-doubt. Self-doubt is not natural. It's just a habit. Remind yourself that all the time. Self-doubt is not natural. It's just a habit. Because when I first got into, you know, the subconscious and our thoughts and all this different stuff, it was so hard for me to change my thoughts. It's so hard for you to go from, dang, I hate the way I did this, to, you know what, it's okay. You don't go from A to B overnight, and it's going to take you creating a habit of thinking differently in order for you to actually think differently. This kind of relates to the last point, but you'll be more willing to take risks when you're on your own side, when you can give yourself grace for trying instead of beating yourself up, shaming yourself, and, you know, criticizing yourself for it not going exactly how you thought. You know what I mean? You get so much more out of life when you can be your own best friend, when you can encourage yourself to do more instead of sitting back and comparing yourself to other people, or shaming the way you did something, shaming the way you said something. Like, you have to be your own best friend, flaws and all. So self-doubt is not natural. It's a habit, and it's a bad habit that a lot of us have. Positive self-talk and positive affirmations directly pour into your aura, because it shows. You can see when somebody believes in themselves, when somebody is confident in what they're doing, whether they know it 100% or not. You can tell when somebody just has that confidence, and that confidence comes from them believing in themselves. So yeah. Number 4, how to raise your aura, how to protect your aura, is to distance yourself from people who have a negative influence on you. And I know this can be kind of hard for some people, almost impossible, especially if it's like family or you have a certain job. But it can also be really confusing and complicated for a lot of people. I know it was confusing for me, because on one end, you may love people. On one end, you may really want to keep certain connections. But in reality, when it comes to energetics, when it comes to you having independence and control over your life, over your aura, you have to be able to sense when somebody just isn't on your frequency. You have to be able to sense when somebody just, they can't pour into you energetically how you really need in order to increase your aura, or at the very least stay on the same aura that you're on. You never want to be surrounded by people who bring you down, who do things or say things that constantly irritate you or constantly put you in this mode of like confusion or irritation or any negative feelings, you know. And we also want to be careful, because sometimes we can be around people, and because of our own trauma, our own feelings or moods or what we're going through, we may blame people incorrectly, or we may prematurely decide that somebody else is toxic. So we have to be really mindful of, is this person toxic, or am I looking at them with a very negative lens? Am I projecting something onto them about myself? And again, this takes self-work. This takes being honest with yourself. But after a while, after you kind of get into the groove of your confidence, after you kind of have a hold on how it feels to be you, how it feels to be happy, how it feels to be aligned, you'll start to be able to tell like who can really invest in you energetically, emotionally, who can pour into your aura, and who kind of takes away from it, you know, who kind of throws those subtle hints of shame, or who may be giving you a certain look that they may be jealous or they may be envious. You can start to tell when certain people just aren't on your frequency, and it's best to distance yourself. It's best to ignore. I'm a big believer in ignoring. Like, if you can't separate yourself, if you're stuck in a situation, learn how to start ignoring, not from a let me show them, or you know, from a mean spirit. But if something they're talking about just isn't aligning with you, you don't have to listen. You can be busy and not do anything. You can tell somebody, hey, I can't talk right now, I don't want to engage with this right now, and go back to doing nothing at all, even if it's scrolling on your phone. Like, learn how to ignore without needing a reason if that person isn't for you. I wrote this down and it sounds really good, so I want to say it. Most boundaries don't have to be spoken directly. You don't have to engage and give your energy to everything and everyone. I think a huge reason why most people don't do what they have to do for themselves is because we believe that a boundary is us directly going up to a person and saying, hey, don't do this, I won't let you do this anymore. We think putting up a boundary is having to directly give energy to someone or something that's a threat. And in some cases, you do have to be direct. In some cases, you do have to say, hey, leave me alone. Hey, this isn't working. Hey, I don't want to talk. But I'll say, from what I've experienced in my life, 95% of the boundaries that I've been able to hold for myself have been energetically just separating myself. I don't have to explain. Or not joining into a group conversation because it's gossip and I don't have to tell them, hey, I don't want to talk about that. I literally can just turn around and not feed into it. If somebody is showing me they don't have time for me, if somebody is showing me that they can't at least communicate with me, I can just block them or just not text back, just not feed into that energy. Like, we don't have to exert so much energy putting up boundaries when we can literally, let me just stop saying that word. We don't have to exert so much energy putting up these boundaries when all we have to do is choose ourselves. All we have to do is act on our best behalf. And I think a lot of times when we're putting up these very direct, loud boundaries, it's because there's emotion attached behind it and not because we're actually going to leave that person alone or actually wanting them to stop whatever they're doing. Like, yes, in the moment we may feel like, no, you're not going to do this, but then we may go right back to the same behaviors that led us into that type of relationship or that actual relationship with that person. So sometimes I feel like the louder the boundary, the less you really mean it. Like, sometimes you may be loud and emotional, but you don't actually stick to your boundary. So I don't know, I just feel like I needed to say that. Most boundaries don't have to be mentioned. Just be about it. Be about it. Yeah, the last way to protect your aura is to take nothing personal. Take nothing personal. I know, easier said than done. I know it's kind of like, how can I not take anything personal? I'm a human. I love my friends. I love my family. I want to be connected. Like, how they treat me or how they see me is important because I want to be accepted. I get it, y'all. I get it. It's okay. What I mean by take nothing personal is that when somebody comes along and they make you the problem, not when they hold you accountable and want to have a conversation, not when they point out how you hurt them or how something feels to them and they want to respectfully find a resolution. No. When people come to you and they treat you as if you are the problem, something is wrong with you, you're doing too much, you're not doing enough, you're just, when people treat you like you just offended them, this is none of your business. This has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their biases in life, how they feel about themselves and where they're at in life, how skilled they've become in balancing their aura, their level of emotional intelligence and self-esteem. There are so many different variables that make up how somebody is going to behave or feel towards you. So when somebody is treating us negatively, that's not our cue to immediately blame ourselves and take how they feel personal. And I know for a lot of people, it's so hard for us to receive compliments. It's so hard for us to receive a good word or positive experiences from people, but we're so quick to make a negative person or other people's negative perspectives about us our own. We're so quick to throw out a compliment and say, oh, she's just being nice. We're so quick to throw away positive perspectives and we just say, oh, well, that's just normal, you know, it's not much. But then a negative perspective comes your way, a negative comment or something negative comes along and we just soak it up. We just soak it up. Oh my God, he feels that way about me. Oh my God, she feels that way about me. Oh my God, he rejected me. I must be worthless. Oh my God, oh my God. When over the course of the month, you've received people in your life who were positive, who were emotionally intelligent and kind, but you couldn't fully receive them. When you received compliments on your outfit or you received compliments on your skill level and you just brushed it off like it wasn't nothing. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. As humans, we've been conditioned so far to weigh negativity, to weigh bad things in our lives in general so much heavier than we weigh the positive things, than we weigh things that are beneficial or good in our lives. So we have to learn how to detach from what people think, whether that's positive or negative. We have to learn how to detach from how people feel, because that's a huge one, especially when it comes to us and our families. People in their families or people they grew up with, we feel like it's our responsibility to maintain the peace or maintain how other people may feel about us, you know, and we never step outside of that comfort zone to find ourselves or to do what feels right to us, because we're so heavily focused on, I have to keep this image to my family, or I have to keep this image of being a good girl or a nice guy, or, you know, somebody that never rocks the boat. Like, at some point in our lives, at multiple points in our lives, we're gonna have to choose between taking something somebody says or feels personal, or doing what we're aligned to do, saying what we're aligned to say. So it's your choice. This directly influences and impacts your aura, because every time you give into somebody else's feelings that have nothing to do with you, you're telling God, you're telling the universe that protecting their feelings is more important than me being aligned. Protecting their perspective of me is more important than me living a life that feels true and honest to me. Every time we choose somebody else over ourselves, and again, I'm not saying situations where you have to be accountable, or situations where you may have fell short with somebody in your life. I'm not talking about those situations. I'm talking about situations when you have to choose between somebody having a negative perspective of you, staying in that box, or allowing them to have a negative perspective and still doing you, still being you, not allowing their perspective to alter what direction you're going in your life. And again, I get it, it's so easy, especially if it's our parents. Like, we want to please our parents, we want to please our family, we want people to be proud of us, we want people to say, you're doing a great job. So when we're not getting that validation, when we're not seeing the external reflect back to us, people who support what we're doing and they're involved and they're cheering us on, it may feel like, am I doing the wrong thing? It may feel like, did I say the wrong thing? Is something wrong with me? But again, you have to trust yourself enough to know when you're choosing between somebody else's destiny for you and your own. And being aligned with what's true to you is going to benefit your aura times 1,000, okay? If you made it to the end of this video, I am so thankful, because you've just received information that will literally skyrocket your aura if you're able to create a discipline and involve them in your life every day the best you can. Now, if you agree with all of them, great. If there's some that you don't agree with or that don't sit right to you, don't do it. I'm all about what aligns, what feels right. So even if I say something in this video and you're just like, that don't really feel right, I don't really agree, you don't have to take it. You don't have to soak it in. Like, take what's meant for you, take what feels right for you, and leave the rest. Okay, y'all, I really hope y'all got something valuable out of it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.